to Digging in the Dome. I am your host, Chris, that bald and now looks like, he's spraying like some kind of black stuff around where his beard used to be guy. He sort of had a bald face the other day. Jesus Christ, you grow hair fast. That's my co-host, Kevin. He's also an fellow alumnus of the One Chip Challenge. And today we have a very special guest. We had the pleasure of seeing this up and coming artist perform at an event DJ'd by our new pal, DJ Bonics at Kavanaugh's River Deck in Philadelphia back in August, and actually on my birthday, believe it or not. And man, what a gift that was. He's an amazing guitar player and singer-songwriter and beat creator. He has a new single called Red Flags coming out soon and will be playing on October 9th at Attic Brewing Company in Philadelphia with Ryan Gilfillian. Please welcome to the show, Ryan Hempsey. Ryan, welcome to Digging in the Dome.
That was an awesome introduction. Thank you for having me.
No, we're of course glad to have you. So, so we all three have something in common. Besides of our love for music, we are all from Jersey. Kevin and I together, we were from that Cape May area. Where are you from in New Jersey?
West Deptford.
West Deptford.
Oh yeah, we've been to the Deptford Mall way more times than we care to admit.
It's the worst, right?
So Chris went to Rowan, so I'm sure you know that area well.
Yeah, we used to play at the
Jersey Boys
at the Franklin House. I don't know if that still exists. The Franklin House on Main Street. I don't think it's a thing anymore, but it used to be a thing. And what was the one that's the one that's right where all the fraternity houses are? Main Street something or other. I don't know. We used to play all kinds of places.
It wasn't the Landmark?
No, maybe that's what it's called now, but it was.
Yeah, it's the Landmark now.
Is it?
Yeah,
the Landmark. We used to play at the Landmark. It wasn't such a landmark when we were playing there, but I guess since then they've come up. So good for them. Obviously one of the first questions I got to ask is, what got you into music? Like that's always my first and favorite question for a musician.
Well, I always loved music and playing music, but I had a cousin who lived with me when I was a kid. He stayed at my house for a while and he played the guitar. He was like next level. Like he won the John Philip Sousa Jazz Award for guitar.
Wow.
And like I was like 10 and he was at my house. And then he ended up moving out, but he like showed me how to like read very basic tabs. But he left with the guitar. But then I went to visit his parents in Virginia, and they gave me one of his guitars, like an old one. And then that was my intro into like playing music. And like since he showed me how to read tabs, I just pretty much used the internet to learn how to play the guitar. And then once after high school, I started writing songs,
That's amazing. So it's so funny how by happenstance you just kind of run into somebody that was playing the guitar, and that's how you kind of fell in love with it.
I had a couple uncles that played the guitar and one who played the bass too. But like besides that, I really like, because people are always like, "Yo, did one of your parents play the guitar or something?" But it's not. I really don't. I have no formal training at all. Just literally just feeling and minimal music theory.
Yeah. You know what? Like, I don't know, Ken, what you feel about it, but it's always annoying when you find somebody who's just naturally talented at something and you're not. I had like,
in my life.
Yeah, exactly. Jesus. No, but that's awesome, man. That's great that you picked that up. What are you gonna say, Kev?
No, I was gonna ask you because when we came and saw you at Kavanaugh's, immediately Chris and I turned to each other and we were getting a lot of G Love vibes.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever gotten that told to you before, but that was something.
No, but I know he's good live and like plays the guitar and stuff. Yeah,
we got those vibes. Go back and check out some of his stuff from like the 90s and early 2000s, and I think you'd hear that. But what were your kind of like musical influences growing up when you were kind of learning how to play guitar and started playing out and stuff like that? What were the guys you were listening to?
Well, it's funny. The first time I got asked to play out, like this kid worked in the kitchen of a bar, and he called me on like a Friday. He was like, "The guy we booked for music tonight canceled. Can you play for like 3 hours?" I'm like, "Yeah." So I started downloading songs on an iPad. I'm singing by myself with just a guitar, but I was like, "Oh, I got paid good," and they gave me a tab. And then eventually I did the whole bar thing, and I got like tired of it. But the music I was playing in that and like the bar and stuff would be like, I like to play like Sublime. And, I play like Jimi Hendrix and I don't know, but stuff that got me into it is fun. You said G-Love, but I was just playing some Jack Johnson and I was like, that's something that was in the beginning, but obviously like Ozzy and AC/DC and Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, like everything like of that nature. Jimi Hendrix is one of my favorite guitar players, and Stevie Ray Vaughan. You know, Eric Gales.
Yeah. Yep. Definitely.
That's
Joe
awesome.
Bonamassa, like they're all crazy. But then I have like a whole bunch of like producer influences too. Like I don't know, I just love making music. Everything about it's fun. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, it's interesting too because I think that like there's like a very it's when you started and you just kind of like again you attach yourself to this instrument, you start learning things, you start teaching yourself and getting better. And it's even funny because for a period of time, I'm not sure what was the distance of time between you getting influenced by your cousin and you actually going in to get your first guitar. Like how much time happened?
All right, when I bought like because after that, then there was interest, and my parents would buy me guitars maybe like once a year around Christmas, and I would get a guitar. But when I bought the Strat, the green Strat, was I graduated high school. I worked for like 2 weeks in the summer, and I just used both paychecks to buy a Strat. And then I came home, I was playing it, and I was like, now I need an amp with tubes in it. And even the last show I just played, I wasn't even playing through a tube amp. So like, I don't know. I can't wait. Like I'm getting my, I have an amp that's like my go-to that's getting fixed. It has this weird issue that all these Black Stars have, but I have a guy working on it. It's like the volume will just dip off.
I was gonna say, like, what do you mean? Like, so the volume
it's not like, I'm trying to get a Fender Reverb though, because I'm trying to get like a really cool one because that's just the sound. I play a Strat. I need a Fender amp.
Yeah.
You know?
You need the right.
Yeah, that was gonna be my next question. Was Fender's your go-to, right? You don't stray outside of that when you're playing.
No, but I like, and even more specific, the Strat. But I think I would like to have a Telecaster too. But the Strat is like the coolest guitar in my opinion.
Yeah,
because when we saw you play out, you were playing that same guitar, weren't you?
Yeah,
that green Strat.
And it's funny because I had probably like 15, 20 guitars. So from like, there was a point where I was just buying them a lot. And then I just started getting rid of stuff. I offload stuff. I just need the Strat. And like I've just been getting rid of stuff like excess furniture. I just want space to make music. Like I don't want stuff. Like if it's around and I'm not using it, it's in the way.
Yeah, no doubt. It's so funny because when he's talking about all this guitar, getting all these guitars, the only thing I think back to is when we were interviewing Brian Quinn, and he literally had a wall. These are the guitars from Candlebox. He had a wall of guitars. Like it was it was unbelievable. I was like, I was salivating. I was like,
hey, can I come over?
Yeah, all I want to do is play those things.
Can I come over and play?
Yeah, he would not let me do that. I guarantee you.
I definitely learned that Candlebox lick on the guitar, like with the tabs when I was younger. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I see like you're very prolific Instagrammer. It's something that I respect the hell out of. I'm not good at it because I'm older. Kevin's definitely not good at it. Kevin barely wants to be on social media. If not for this damn podcast, he would be the social media version of a hermit.
Facebook going down yesterday was fucking glorious. I just loved watching everyone panic. I haven't been on Facebook in God knows how long.
Yeah.
But so you really promote yourself on social media. Do you find it to be like something that you enjoy doing, or do you just do it just simply because
I like it? I like posting and making content, but then like we all get caught in the scroll of random content, but it's like, it hooks you in. So it's like, but I find it easy. Like if I'm in the studio or something, like I'm not like getting distracted by my phone. Like I get locked in on their phones. I'm like, yo, let's focus. You know what I'm saying? But, because it's such an easy distraction. Everybody experiences it.
Yeah, I just saw you posted on Instagram a couple of days ago. You were doing something with Fat Boy, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Like, it's so cool. And this is something that Chris and I kind of talked to Bonics about, was like how there's this kind of melding of pop and hip hop as like the most popular musical genres right now. Like when we were growing up, it wasn't like that. It was pretty much just rock, you know. And then in the early '90s, you started to see hip hop become more popular. And how do you think like hip hop's influenced your music? And do you like to produce on like the hip hop side of things?
I think it's exactly what you said, like blending it together, like just taking from all, like the Red Flags record I was talking about. It's definitely a hip hop beat, and it's mixed like hip hop. Like it's got a big bass in it, and it's got like quick guitar fills in like open spaces, and like it's just got like a really cool bounce. But I try and blend what's something that my parents would think is cool on the guitar, and that like your average hip hop or pop listener is going to be drawn to the drums, and then like just having fun with making melodies and stuff. I just try all different things. I end up making like all different genres, and most of the time I can't actually fit. I'll be like, this is close to this, but it's not exactly that, because I'm just experimenting a lot. Like, so I guess, I don't know, more recently I could say like, oh, this is this type of beat or production, but people actually tell me what it is. Like I just make stuff, and then someone will be like, oh, this would be cool for, I'm like, word, I was just like having fun stuff. That's cool.
That's great, because so what I gathered from your music and from a lot of and you even mentioned, it's funny when you said Eric Gale's, famous blues guitarist, like the first thing that I thought is that you have a very like an undertone of blues to a lot of your music. I could feel it in it, and you can hear it. And I think that's sometimes you get that foundational thing. And Kevin and I think can commiserate a bit with being kind of all over the place. When we wrote music back when we were in our band, Desiderata, it was literally you're throwing everything into a blender on top of this foundation of kind of this of hip hop. We didn't want to get boxed into like a particular style. We wanted to be able to blend and kind of move inside and outside as composers. Didn't want to get stuck in a very specific genre. Unfortunately, what happens is sometimes you get pigeonholed. Like I think that we would probably say that we got pigeonholed often into like kind of a rap rock thing, even though if you listen to any of our music or if you listen to our albums, there's components of it, sure, but you definitely hear other influences, surf music, you hear reggae, you hear, you hear, blues, you hear, even some like, again, kind of like you mentioned Pink Floyd, kind of that spacey,
Yeah, that's what I want my shit to be like, ambient, atmospheric, just provoke some sort of feeling. Like if something's not feeling good, then I'll just move right on past it. And I'll start something and move on to the next thing. Like I don't get too hung up. And even if I can make something that's good, like I've learned that it's like, all right, this is good. And until someone has an idea for it, or I do, I'm just sitting here. Sometimes, and I learned when I first started mixing, I'm pulling knobs, I'm doing stuff, and I'm like, I'm not even thinking. But then when I'm at my boy's studio right now, like they're in the other room making music, and we'll mix, and like there'll be long breaks between like anybody touching buttons, or we're just like hanging out and like making a calculated move rather than just like he knows what he's up to, which is cool because he knows like the sound that I'm going for, and that's a good relationship. And engineers are like super important because people can mix stuff, but if they can't mix it to like what you are envisioning, like then it's still not. I don't know. It's not right.
We don't know anything about that, do we?
Yeah, we recorded our first album at this super famous studio in Philly that doesn't exist anymore. It's called Sonic Studios. You can look it up. They used to put out like Sonic session albums for all these famous artists and stuff. But the engineer there couldn't have given a rat's ass about us. And we were paying ridiculous hourly rates to get our album made. And it came out in the quality of the album. When it was done, we could tell that this dude was just going through the motions. He didn't give a fuck.
He was trying to get past us to get to Alanis Morissette, his next person that was coming.
Or Tori Amos or whoever was there to record that day.
Yeah.
Like they didn't give two shits about us. So having somebody that actually you can work with that actually gives a shit about the music and how it sounds is a huge advantage to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that oddly, if I was really going to, because we've been in 4 recording sessions for albums, 4 different albums. Every time we spent less money and got better product successively. Like, I mean, the 4th one we didn't really finish, but what was the guy's name that we were in he had a house studio. We knew
he was in Newtown. He worked with
what the hell?
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, that guy.
It'll come to my mind.
All right, you figure it out. Remember, you're responsible for remembering.
I'll figure it out.
Responsibility. But it was interesting because the further away we got from those, like, again, cold, more professional studios, if you want to call it that, and we got producers that gave more of a shit about us. The second producer that we used was Mike Newseeder, who produced Orange 9mm and Sebastian Bach, and he brought a very different flavor than the shitty first producer that we had. And then the next guy, whose last name I'm going to butcher, it's Max Lascavi. He's actually a artist in Philadelphia, and he's actually putting out his name. I think he goes under the tag Electric with a Q, ELECTIQ or TRIQ. He's putting out amazing music right now. He was just on Q102 a bunch, and he did. I would say, because we didn't complete the 4th album, he did the best job of capturing what we were looking to do and made the best produced album. And he was by far. We were actually, you said you were at your boy's studio. I don't know where he's located, but we were actually.
Cherry Hill.
Where is it at? Cherry Hill?
I'm in Cherry Hill.
All right. Another mall, Cherry Hill Mall. Not exactly the place you want to be going.
No.
Very
Jersey is just malls and toll booths.
You mean America is?
Yeah, mostly.
Did you ever see George Carlin's skit about America being a shopping mall and restaurant, the whole thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's my cousin, George Carlin. He was my cousin.
That's right. You said that.
Wait, what?
Yeah, he said. I forgot. Yeah, you said that when we were at. We'll get to the Bonics family party that we attended and hung out at. But yeah, George Carlin's cousin, right there.
Holy shit, that's incredible.
Yes.
That's my grandfather's cousin.
That's amazing. Yeah, he's like one of our favorite comedians.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't you wish that you could just hear his take on like what's going on right now?
Oh my God, yeah.
You know?
Oh,
I don't think there'd be anybody better just to hear.
Yeah.
Good comedians like that just like fix stupid things. I feel like whenever, like if they could reach enough people with their like, we need another person like him on stage.
Well, the problem is that like, and we talk about this, we lament constantly on this podcast about how things that you could have done previously, you can't do anymore. And some of it for the good, some of it makes sense that you shouldn't do certain things or say certain things. But I'm of the belief that comedy is the opportunity to be able to take the sting out of things, to be able to point the ridiculousness of certain things that people take very seriously. And it's interesting that, you kind of lose that now, because there's so many people that are afraid that if I say one thing wrong, I'm going to get canceled tomorrow. It's a constant like struggle. You just are worried that someone's going to throw you to the wolves. And it unfortunately happens often. But it's I would love to hear we'd have 4 hours at least on the last 3 or 4 years, maybe the last 2 years, 1 year, we probably have 4 hours. Yeah, I mean it's amazing. So from a performance standpoint, you've been playing around Philly a lot. You probably play New Jersey a lot. Where's the best place or the most fun place you've ever played, or the coolest place you ever played?
I think that Kavanaugh show was like kind of the best show because it was a core of people that were really like special, like real. Like it wasn't like a bunch of random people coming in. It was like we cultivated a vibe with all our friends, and they've been listening to like my tracks and Ryan's tracks. So it was like when we got up there, it was just like I won't take a booking to play in a bar and sing other songs because it's just not worth the time. I'd rather be trying to make something or, throw another event or just do something else completely. Like anything.
We were the same way. Like we talked about this before too on the podcast that we didn't like playing cover songs. We would incorporate certain covers or take on a cover, but we wanted to play our stuff because we wanted to promote our stuff. We didn't want to promote other people's shit. We could have made thousands of dollars playing at the shore and be like Mr. Green Jeans or Fuzzy Bunny Slippers or some of those bands that are out there and they're making a ton of money, but there's no opportunity for creativity really because you're retreading. You're a radio.
Yeah, like I love meeting people by way of like being in the studio or out in the mix in the scene because I don't know. It's all about the interaction. You just meet people when you go out or stay in the studio, and then cool things happen when you try to make music together. But I don't know. I don't work like I work with like select people now. I'm like careful, because I feel like not everybody's just trying to have fun and make music. They could have other motives and stuff, but I have a lot of good people surrounding me now. So I just want to focus on the people I believe in and just keep cooking, just keep going. Cause like the instrumentalists around right now and like the singer, Ryan Giffords and Taiwan Johnson on the keys, the Weichel brothers on the bass and drums, they're brothers. And then, Nicky Boy Leo on the guitar. He's producing all of G's music. Ryan Giffords, I call him G's. That's his nickname. But yeah.
How did you meet him, Brian?
I went to the studio in Chester that they have, and I guess I just met him there one day, and I don't know. We just kind of connected, and then one day I was at my house and I made the song Kiwi. And like I made the hook and I made the beat and I called them. I was like, "You gotta go to the studio and get Batman and G's." And then like he did that crazy like singing thing on there, and I was watching Batman cut it in the Pro Tools at the studio in Chester, and he was like, "Oh, let me do that again." I was like, "Bro, you get rid of that." I was like, "Keep that." And then like after that. Yeah, we just got in there. Me and G's cut it up, and the rest was.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of cool how long like tracks grow for a long time. It's weird. Like it feels like so long ago, and then it feels like recently it had the steam of.
How do you feel? Like, I guess another question would be like because sometimes I find myself doing this because I'll start writing something, and then. I'll go and it sounds good. And I'm like, all right, I'm good with the concept. And then I'll keep going back to it. And then I feel like I'm going back to it all the time. And I just can't. When do you feel like I always have that trouble of saying, when is enough? When have I gotten to it exactly where it's that perfect spot? Because I want to tweak just like you're like fiddling with the knobs.
Well, that's why I got to work with an engineer now because he'll be like, bro, I'm like, yo, let's recut that guitar. And he's like, dude, that shit sounds good. Leave it alone. Yeah. And then you gotta have people you trust, and not people who are just like trying to get it done, but people who are like you trust their ear, and if they're like this is good, and even like my other friend, like because this Red Flag song made it like I produced it and like played all the instruments, and I recorded it in my house, and it was a cool recording and you got an idea of what the track was, and I brought it to here, I brought it to the studio. And then Johnny broke down like all my different beat stems and the guitar stems and just mixed it like crazy. Like he went to the Blackbird Academy in Nashville. Oh, wow. And then I went down there and got to record at the Blackbird studio in Nashville, which was just like a really cool experience.
Yeah. So you were just recently down there in Nashville, right? When was that?
That was actually in February, but I still didn't release the track. But I'm planning to. Like this is the time of the year where I want to release. So
no, I was just gonna say. So Kiwi was your last single, right?
Yeah.
And so that was what 2020, like late last year.
Yeah, in March.
And you started getting some traction from that. You were on Q102.
No, that was March of this year.
That was March of this year. Okay, my bad. Sorry, I thought it was March of last year.
Well, so I put it on all platforms, and then it started getting some views on Spotify, and then I met Bonics, and he helped me get it on to Q102, which was awesome. Shout out to Bonics. I love him. He's the man.
Yes. Absolutely.
And that was a cool experience to hear, like, something I made in my basement. And then I'm just like hearing it over the car speakers. That was, I don't know, it's a surreal experience. Like, every time it felt just cool to hear it on the radio.
So what is, like, what's the next step for you, man? Do you want to, like, start, like, do you just want to keep making music and just putting stuff out there? Or do you want to play out more like physical gigs and stuff like that? Like, what's your focus for the next, 6 months or so?
I just want to keep making productions, and whether I make a song over it or send it to someone else, just keep making music and continue to do more live shows, release some stuff that I've been sitting on for a little while, and just kind of go with the flow and trust my gut when things feel right. Just that's how I usually do it. Like, I'll have something and someone will be like, "What are you waiting for?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I know when it feels right, or it feels like a lull, almost, where I can get in, where I can fit in." You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe this.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's good that you don't have anybody that's pushing you in a certain direction except you, which is a great mindset to have. We had Close Cash on a couple months ago, and
that's my homie.
Yeah, he's the man. He did a feature on our album when he was in high school. Really? So yeah, he was on one of our tracks back in the early 2000s. When he was like 17.
Yep.
So yeah, we had him on a couple months ago, and we were kind of talking about how, when we were getting more popular, we started getting a lot of people trying to push us in a certain direction. They were like, "Oh, you need to be doing this." Like Chris had mentioned before, we were getting put in this, like the rap rock, like new metal kind of bucket, just because we were like rock and hip hop, rock over hip hop bass. Like,
yeah,
it was hard for us to get a footing, because they wanted to be like, "Oh, you want to be the next Linkin Park? We want to make you to the next Linkin Park." And it was like, well, we don't really want to do that. We kind of want to do our own thing. And then at that time, this is like pre-internet, really, or like before the internet was really huge and there was no social media.
It was like LimeWire days.
Yeah. I mean, you had to kind of follow what people were telling you was what you need to do. Oh, if you're going to do it, you have to do it this way. Otherwise, you're never going to make it. Mm-hmm. Whereas now you see this mindset, and I really support this mindset. It was like, I'm going to trust my gut. I'm going to trust my instincts. I'm going to go with what I feel is the best thing for me and how I want to make music. And whether or not that gets me, elevated right away. We talked to Close Cash about this too, was like people just putting music out just because they want hits, clout chasers. Yeah. Like you not doing that, I think, is the right approach for you.
Yeah.
And it's something that I really like to see in today's like up and coming artists. Really cool. It's really cool that you have the ability to do that, where we didn't have that back when we were coming up in the early 2000s.
I would add to that I think the entire mindset around the industry has changed. Like, so, initially when we're talking about like, hey, I'm putting this single out here, I'm collaborating with this person. That's not like when we were doing it. It was more like, get your album together, package that up with a media kit, and get it out to people for them to hear it. Try to get it on the radio if you can. Go and play a whole bunch of gigs. Try to promote your music. Go to I was talking about, and I can't remember the name. It was like the Philadelphia music something that we went and we're playing in front of A&R reps, like live, trying to promote our stuff. It was very much a package it up and then present your whole thing to somebody. And then now it's more like, hey, you know what? I can create a single and then I can move on to somebody else and work with somebody else and create a single with them. it's not really about the album, because the selling of the actual physical property of albums is not really a cash generator for people. There's a massive difference in the way that the industry has changed. It's not about the physical collateral of having. I mean, people buy vinyl things, like vinyl records, kind of like retro now. At some point, CDs, will probably be retro, and people start buying those. Yeah. It's more about putting the content out there for people to consume wherever you can.
Yeah,
SoundCloud or YouTube or wherever,
I'm kind of focused on like Instagram and YouTube as platforms to like discover more fans, or for fans to discover me. Like, I know there's, just from what I see, and I know I should be doing more with TikTok. I remember like making one video on there and it got like 50,000 views.
Yeah,
because there's more people trying to watch than people are creating at all times. So there's just like you can get a lot of views on there, but I don't know. It's just not, it has never been something that I really got into. So Instagram, and they have the Reels feature, which is cool. Mm-hmm. And then YouTube, and just trying to put out videos of my live performances so people can get an idea what it's like to see me live. And then, like, if you go on my YouTube, I have like everything's uploaded as the cover art for the single and the audio, but then there's also the music videos, and it's like, you got to make a ton of content out of everything now. Like, you can make a lyric video is one thing, a visualizer thing, a music video, upload just the single artwork. And like, they recommend you do that, because now it's like, you could say like you have like a 20-week rollout plan, and like, you know how to disperse. This one single song has literally like months worth of content.
Right.
And I feel like you gotta like master like giving them like the same content, but like spacing it out so it's not like you're like, it's so they don't just get annoyed and like want to stop looking at it or something.
Well, it's also how you consume it, right? So there's different people consume things differently. So some people want to see the music video, some people don't. Yeah. Some people want to be able to hear just the music, and again have the little, like you said, the visualizer where you see the actual, the vocals kind of popping on the screen. Or some people want to know what the lyrics of a song are. So delivering those different methods will get the different eyes on it depending on what people are.
Yeah, I think that's important. And when I upload songs on Apple Music, I like try to. Well, I don't just try, and I do it on myself. I like upload my lyrics as regular lyrics, and then once that's approved, you can do sync lyrics, and literally like your lyrics show up as like a long page. The song starts, and you press spacebar, and at the beginning of every line, and then it just syncs it up for you, which is cool because people like if you open up someone's song on Apple Music and they have the lyrics, but it's like the big lyrics and they're moving, you're so much more engaged the first time you listen. Because you're like, what's he talking about? Or what's she talking about?
Right.
And people love reading lyrics. And I'm not even that type of listener. Like, I love listening for like instruments and melody and arrangement. But it's crazy.
Yeah, it's interesting. We say that like, because I remember, this is going back now over a year. I was sitting in the car with my daughter, and In the Air Tonight came on by Phil Collins, which is one of those songs that the lyrics are really impactful and make you feel a certain kind of way. But the way that song builds is just like, it's one of those songs that like, anytime you hear it, that's a measure for me. If I'm listening to a song and I've heard it, 100 times and it's still giving me goosebumps when I hear it, that's why I know it's like resonating with me. It's like that. Just watching her kind of process how like all these sounds were coming from all these different directions. Again, just masterful production by Phil Collins, and a brilliant song. So like, I could totally see what you mean there. Like, I think that it's just, when you're a musician, you hear it differently. Kev can back me up on this, because we sometimes would be on stage and we'll be playing a set, and the set didn't go great, right? We hear all the mistakes that we made, and we come off stage all sad sackish, and everyone's like, that was great. It was the best thing I ever heard. We're like,
that's how it goes.
Sucked. You have no idea.
That was garbage. We're like, we're going to fist fight after this. Like, I don't know what you guys are watching.
Yeah.
I think, like, that's the reason I think the Kavanaugh's thing was the best feeling, because I got done and I knew that I I just like, I felt like, when you're like daydreaming, it felt like that. It felt like I was just like leaving for a second, And I know I could be better. I know I could play better, but I don't like fester on the mistakes. I just like try and see the good parts and see what I think that's like honestly a rusty me on the guitar. And we've been rehearsing a lot, so I'm starting to get that like. Because there was obviously the long, like, not playing out thing. So you're, like, producing it all the time, but it's not the same as playing with a band. It's, like, there's way more to it. So I'm feeling really good even since then, just from the consistent, like, trying to push for rehearsals that way. Because that's really, like, if you make it second nature, like I tell some, like, if you want to remember lyrics, do it 18 times.
Right.
Like, don't look at it 20 times and do it. And then then it'll be ingrained and then it was weird. When I did like the cover song, I'm like, I would pick someone random, like, what's the first word of this verse? And then once they give you that, you're good.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like, I don't know. It's pretty cool how you can remember. Some people are even better at it though. Like some people are like lyrics machines. They know every song somehow.
I don't know how like people like Eminem and Busta Rhymes keep all that stuff straight. They're going so fast. I'm like, Jesus, where do you keep all that? Like, I can't remember that. I can hear like, you can't keep up with it either. It's rough, but it is impressive when people have that ability. Kev can do that. Kev's got a good.
Yeah, man. It's weird. It's like I can do that. Like I can remember my lyrics and stuff like that, and I can hear lyrics and remember lyrics from songs that came out like 30 years ago. That just because I listened to it so many times, and like you said, it's the fact that it's the repetitive nature of it, and wanting to commit it to memory. It also helps too if it's something that you're into. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it's something that you're passionate about, it's a lot easier to commit to memory than something that you're just like ho hum about. I found that a lot in some of our later music, like where it would seem like we were just making content to make content, and I was just writing just to get a verse done. And I had a hard time remembering what I wrote because I wasn't really committed to the idea of what I was
didn't have
writing.
meaning for you. Didn't have the meaning that the other stuff that stuff had for you. Yeah.
Yeah, if something resonates with you, it's easy to remember. But if it's just like, I don't know, I like a lot of modern songs because the production is always great. If you hear something comes on shuffle on like Apple Music or Spotify from a song that you liked before that, like it's crazy how like the Big Brother or whatever, you know what I'm saying?
The algorithm.
The way that they understand what you want, like in Spotify used to be really good at it too. But it's weird. I don't listen to that much music. I get in like moods. I like creating a lot, and I don't know. Sometimes I try to stay away and try to intake less at moments so I can. I had some good people tell me like try to be less influenced by other things and you can really tap into what's inside of you because like you don't need obviously we all have influences, but when you're going to create, you don't need to be looking at anything else. And I don't know.
You just don't. You don't want to sound like somebody else.
Well, yeah, and you don't want to be like again if you're. It's the cautionary tale of Vanilla Ice. Don't make the same mistake that he did. No, it's dun 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 dun, not dun 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 dun. When he took Under Pressure, the beat from Queen and David Bowie, which I mean it's just like. But again, I mean you can't argue with commercial success, I suppose. But now he's stealing people's pool skimmers. So look where that got him. Petty theft in his house. Yeah, he became a home improvement guy, and he even fell off the. Obviously, he did Vanilla Ice Ice Baby, and then Kevin. I'm going to be annoyed that you're going to remember this, and then I'm going to have to think about it. What was the song that he did after that? The stupid.
He did a terrible song called "Having a Roni."
Oh God damn it! Why did I? I shouldn't even ask that song. That song.
Yeah.
Oh God. Yeah. Having a Roni. Ugh. So then obviously his musical career fell off the cliff shortly thereafter. And then he came back and started doing, I guess he's very handy. He started doing home improvement, and he got picked up by, I think it was like A&E or HGTV or something like that, where he was doing a show of him going and remodeling people's houses and stuff like that. Like, super talented guy. But I guess it was like about I want to say about a year ago or a little bit less than that he was busted stealing people's but dumb stuff like their pool skimmer, or like he's stealing things from people's houses that he was remodeling. And I don't know, I guess maybe he kind of fell apart there.
Cool story, bro.
Yeah, I'm just saying what happened to the guy.
I hope he gets better.
Yeah, we all. Yeah. But I guess the point was that if you're listening to other people's stuff, it can majorly influence you. And to your point, it's a better experience just to kind of put things together yourself and then again tweak as necessary. You'll get influenced by something. You've heard something that will somehow make its way in. Like I said, when I hear you play, I hear a lot of blues in there. I hear a ton of that blues influence in there. And I'm sure that you listen to music.
B.B. King and John Mayer and like Eric Clapton, everyone, the Beatles, everyone, they all had that influence in their music too. Like I feel like I can't even get away from it.
But why get away from it? If it's working, man, you sound on the guitar.
No, and that's the struggle. I'm like, I need to lean into this. Sometimes I try to get away from it. I'm like,
why?
No,
why do you feel the need to do that? Why do you feel like you have to get away?
I don't know. I just get bored sometimes. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm like, I guess I don't know. I always want to get better with the guitar. So that's just what it is. I try to slip I guess I don't even know. I guess every genre in there, but I guess try to get a little jazzier with the notes, or I don't even know if it's jazz. It's just the right notes. I don't know. Whatever feels right.
Exactly.
So I got to know, I haven't been to a damn concert in 2 friggin' years. You were at Firefly a couple weekends ago. Dude, how was it?
It was crazy. I saw Tame Impala in the front row, and it was just insane. The production was just out of this world. I also saw Roddy Ricch, The Killers. I saw Meg Thee Stallion, and she was very charismatic. She was pretty cool. She was bringing fans on the stage, and they were dancing, and then she brought more people up, and she was like, I'm going to do it one more time. And she was graceful. She really was in between her songs when I was taking notes. She was really cool on the mic, and just she's really just natural and seemed I think if you met her, she would just be cool.
It's it's interesting because you hear horror stories of some people that are dicks. One that I heard recently was that Billy Corgan from the Smashing Pumpkins is kind of an asshole to fans that are coming to see him. He'll be like, well, you didn't like that. Well, I'm just going to speed through these songs there to get the hell out of here, kind of thing. And I don't know if that's his emo, kind of vibe thing that he's got going, or if he's just but I don't understand the value of that. You want to be able to connect to your fans. That's the fact that Megan Thee Stallion's bringing all these people on stage is actually really cool. And
and there were people of it was a very diverse group. It was there was someone's mom was up there. People from all different. There was guys up there too.
Mm-hmm. And
I was I didn't know why I was there at first, but then I was maybe I learned something from her. Well, there's always something to learn, no matter who you go see.
One thing I know that you didn't learn is how to keep your phone on you because you apparently lost it. So what happened?
I don't know. I went to Tame Impala and I was just having a great time. And then we left there. We're on a little golf cart. They're driving us to the other stage. And I'm like, I don't have my phone. And then it was we're not finding it. There's 50,000 people here and it's gone. So I just accepted it. And I came back the next day with no phone. And then the following day, one was overnighted from an insurance thing, So I got my new phone.
Yeah, man. That's honestly, is there anything more terrifying than losing your phone? It's oh no. You feel like you're cut off on communication. You might be in a cave.
It was cool because I was with 2 good friends.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew I was good. I knew I could get home. I knew I would be able to get another phone. So I was all right, let me just try to still have fun. And I did. I was like, you kind of let loose when you don't have your phone. You just got nothing better to do but just live in the moment. So,
Yeah.
And then I realized how addicted I was too. I'm like, man, because there was the moments where I'm like having a good time. And then there was moments where I'm like, oh my God, this phone needs to show up. I stopped home like 3 times throughout the day to see if the package came. But no,
you're on UPS.com. You're like, where's that tracking number?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough.
Like, oh, Capitol Records called me 3 times after I lost my phone. Like, that's
I was
like, no.
Come in. What if someone calls for like business or something and you just, dun dun dun. The caller is dialed.
Oh, yep.
Yes.
They're like, oh, he can't even keep his phone on. Next person.
Yeah. This phone has been stomped into the mud by a hippie. No.
But I actually know a couple people where it does that, and I know they paid their phone. I'm like, you got to fix that.
Yeah.
Because people think like that's just the wrong line.
Right.
And I think more people need to do phone calls too. Everybody's trying to text. Yep. It's easier to just call, right?
Yeah, nobody wants to get calls, man, anymore. Everybody just texts. My parents don't even call me; they text me, like, which says a lot about me, I guess.
Yeah, they don't want to talk to you.
I call my friends, especially the ones I'm like making music and with stuff, making music stuff with, like all the time. Some people I just sit on FaceTime with. And we'll go doing nothing.
Yep. You're just hanging out with them. It's funny. You mentioned parents texting. I remember the first time I got a text from my dad, and he wrote it like he was writing penning out a letter. It was like, "Dear Chris," and then it said comma, and then he went to the music. Love Dad at the bottom. I'm like, I know it's you. I have your fucking phone number. It came up in Dad's cell. I know that's who's trying to get in touch with me. But he wrote it like a letter. It was very funny.
So real quick before I forget, just because you brought them up, Tame Impala, I just saw the other day. They're working on a song with Diana Ross.
Wow.
Which is like a really cool collaboration that they're going to be coming out with soon. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool.
They're a cool band.
Like, I really was, when I was standing there, I was like, there is no way. Like, I was really in disbelief of that show. Like, I don't know. I can't tell if they were playing the instruments live. Mm-hmm. Maybe. I'm not sure. I couldn't even tell. But the production was coming through so good.
Yeah. Sorry.
I would, it's like you said, sometimes bands are so good that you can't even tell the difference between their produced music and when they're playing live. And some are so bad that you know right away that they're playing live. So sometimes it's hard to tell. Like I saw the Strokes live, and it sounded incredible. I saw them at the Electric Factory, and it was like, I was like, oh, are they even playing their instruments? Because this sounds like
perfect,
exactly like what their regular stuff sounds like. So you like kind of question that.
There were some acts where I could tell, I'm like, all right, they're not playing. But then Tame Impala, it was pretty late, and I was like, I'm not sure what's going on right now. It was really, really good though. And it sounded like it was more than just the record, but it was really cool. And I'm amazed. I was super amazed because I like saw a documentary on the dude, Kevin Parker. He produces and like makes all of the parts to them songs. And then he hires a band to play live. And then I wasn't sure if they were really playing. But it looked like such a real live band setup. Like everything was wired up and all, like, because you look for things, but I'm like, maybe they would do all that. And I don't know. It was almost like it seemed too good to be true. It was insane.
Tame Impala's an Australian band, right?
Yeah. So
one guy reminds me it all.
Yeah, so he reminds me of what's his name from Godsmack. Actually, like the early Godsmack stuff. It was just him doing all that stuff, and then he wrote everything: drums, guitar, bass. And then when they went out on tour, Sully from Godsmack, he like wrote everything. And then when they went on tour, he would just had a band that would go with him, at least initially anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, the guy from Tame Impala is the same way.
Yeah, that's interesting. So like, so now that you kind of like, you've got like your crew, Do you feel like those your people that you're going to continue to write music with? Because you seem like you do a lot of collaboration with other folks. So you kind of like keeping those two kind of options open. You're working with these guys. You don't really your band with these guys, the brothers and Ryan.
And Ryan.
Yeah. So like, is that like, because or are you going to be doing more kind of like a little bit of both? Are you going to be collaborating?
Yeah, I want to. Like, I'm always going to be working on stuff pretty much every day. I open up the laptop and might start with a guitar or keys and I just go.
Mm-hmm.
But when I thrive off of like collaborating with people, but I also do very well when I'm by myself. So I'm going to do both. Like, just keep collaborating with my friends, making music on my own, because like I would like to be in his band. And I would like to have my own band. I'll open up for him and play in his band, or he can open up for me and play in my band, or like I might end up playing the guitar with anyone, and I'm cool with that. Like I'll do studio stuff, I'll do live stuff, I'll do, I'm down to work with other people. I love, there's magic in creating with other people. Like you can do cool stuff on your own, but like when two great minds get together, there's like nothing else. It's like amazing. And actually it's way more than that. Because if you think about like the engineer, the person who made the artwork, like think of like my boy Nick Johnson, like it brings it to life when you click Apple and it's like something vibrant in your face that like is like nice artwork that draws you in, and maybe you want to go look at the lyrics or check it out further or just give it a shot. Like I know for a fact I click on stuff because it's like got cool artwork. I'm like, what's this cool looking record about? Or like on YouTube, I'll see something on the side and it looks like kind of trippy or funky.
Let's see what this is all about.
You can tell when people have the aesthetic down, like it helps. It helps pull together what you're hearing and seeing,
It's branding. You're putting together a brand and people, see something like that and they're like, oh, wow, that's cool. Let me just check it out. And that's how they end up stumbling onto your stuff. To your point, you serve it up in different kind of medium and different ways to present that medium. And if you got a brand, again, you have a brand, Hempsey the brand, that's something that people will recognize, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah. Shout out Nick Johnson and DCX Commonwealth.
Yeah,
you mentioned him real quick before. He's doing some cool shit. Nick's a good guy.
Yep.
Yeah, he's the man. He's like understands the vision, and he's a good friend and like mentor as well, and connector. He connects me with the right people, and it's great to have people by your side that like can see the same thing that you're seeing and bring things to your attention that you can do better, or like people that you trust that you can lean on and ask them for their opinion. You can take their critiques because they're your friend and they're not just like everything with it's all pure. It's just genuine, like good friends,
Yeah, and they're not just blowing smoke up your ass either.
That's
they're not going to tell you that you're doing something great.
Yeah, or
they'll tell you like maybe. Nah, like this ain't it.
Yeah,
and you do that, that's it.
Yeah, that's a good. It's interesting too. Like as I'm listening to Ryan, Kevin, it sounds a lot like Brian and like how he kind of got into Candlebox because Brian was doing a lot of like he was like kind of like going through different bands and playing with different people and collaborating with a ton of people. Like you see the laundry list of people that Brian Quinn's played with. It's unbelievable the amount of talent that he's played with different artists and very much and I think that when we talked to him, he said it was one of those situations that by happenstance he just met the lead singer for Candlebox and he heard him play and he said it's like one of the best shows he's ever played live. He just crushed and the guy come up to him, he's like, hey, I'd like to work with you. Next thing you know, Ryan Quinn's in Candlebox. It's pretty crazy. So it's a pretty good to keep that option open to be a little bit more agile with who you're working with. It's awesome.
Think about it, like back in the day, like I'm pretty sure Eric Clapton played lead guitar on Beatles records. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And maybe that was before he I don't know the history or timeline, but in my head, maybe that's before he's like, touring the world as Eric Clapton himself. He's putting that work in the studio and just because some people like, and that's something too. Like I'm good at the guitar, but like I'm also down if there's someone who's better than me or something. Like yes, please cut something. Like, and I'm always ready. Like if we're in the studio, like the interface, I use pretty simple stuff where I'm not like I gotta get all these levels. Like it's pretty loose and pretty like I don't use like the world class stuff. When I go to record vocals, they have like cool analog stuff that it goes through. But I've made stuff that people love through a $500 interface. You know?
Yep. It doesn't really matter. It's just like it depends on what the song is and how you're creating that sound and however you captured that sound at that moment. Yeah, you could have the best equipment in the world. We just talked about it. Like we went to Sonic Studios and that place they did a terrible job of putting our stuff together. They have probably the best equipment that we ever worked on. If you go from studio to studio in terms of just cost and quality, maybe I Get Milk Boy probably had on par with Sonic. In fairness, they probably did. That's the second place we recorded at, but still, it doesn't matter. You create good stuff and people like it, then fantastic. If they think it sounds good and you think it sounds good, it doesn't really matter what you recorded it on at that moment.
Yeah, I mean, we've recorded lyrics in a guy's closet at his mom's house, and it sounded awesome because, it was put together the right way. Equipment was good enough, and he cared about the music.
That's it.
I think a lot of hits get recorded on tour buses and in like home studios all the time, or hotel rooms. Mm-hmm. Like hotel rooms are a great place to like catch a vibe, and make music. You're like in a different city, you got a view, you have a laptop and a speaker, an interface, a mic. You have a studio anywhere. And I always like make it a point when I travel, like bring a guitar and my laptop and a Beats bill. So if like I come up with something, I can like make it. Or like when I'm on the plane to go somewhere or on like a car ride, just put the headphones on and get on my laptop. And like being in different places and making music is what makes it fun too. Like if you go to the same place every day, you just like same studio. Because I go to like different friends and stuff, where I'll know when the time comes where it's like I gotta sit in my room and make songs because that's where I know I can get stuff done. But I just like bounce around and make music in different places because it's what keeps it interesting. Like, and I've even recorded stuff off of like had a guitar idea, just recorded it with my iPhone, and then use that audio and it's just like it has a cool like maybe you can hear something that's going on outside, but that stuff makes records now. Like people talking in the background or something like that. That stuff obviously not like blatantly.
Oh, you love this podcast. I have people, dogs barking, kids breaking in. Jesus Christ.
I didn't hear any of that.
For some reason today of all days, they're actually because they're all downstairs on their devices and being addicted.
I'm in a room with no furniture or soundproof stuff. Is it echoing?
It's got a little bit of
it's not bad.
It's not bad. You can hear.
I think like the best mic placement, so you'll get it. Yeah. Well, if you're too far away and there's an echo, it's bad.
Yeah, you mentioned the different acoustics that you could just experience in different places. I think that sometimes, to your point, makes the song. It's like it's part of the collective sound that you're trying to go for. And if it sounds right, then great. Then who cares?
Or like in videos when like they add little sound effects, that stuff's really cool. I really want to make music that gets in like TV or movies as like an intro or something, because I make stuff all the time where I'm like not like aimlessly creating, but pretty much. And I'll make something and I'm like, this is cool. Like, because I'm not like, I gotta make a Hempsey song right now. It's just like, let me just create and see where it takes me. A lot of times, like I would show stuff to my parents, and they would be like, "This sounds like a movie or TV thing."
Well, that's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, man. As long as you're creating, man, you can find a place for it. Then you're doing something positive with your career. It doesn't have to be like.
My boy Bonics texted me.
Oh yeah.
That's why I got distracted for a second.
That's all good.
Yeah.
We're just saying it. You don't have to be pigeonholed into making one particular kind of art. You can do multiple. You can be multifaceted and not hurt yourself.
So think about it. I'm sorry. I got another text. I'm sorry.
And so I saw your finger scroll up. I'm like, are you pointing at me? What did I do?
He's like, you motherfucker. Right
I think
there.
it might be. I think it may be important.
So speaking of Bonics, how did you meet him? Like, how did you meet
through Nick Johnson?
Nick Johnson. Okay.
Yeah, he mentioned him a couple times, and I always heard of him. He's like a legend. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I used to listen to like Wiz Khalifa records. Like when I was in high school, there were huge Wiz Khalifa records. Mm-hmm. And then when I got to meet him, he came over to my house, and I just like showed him a lot of my music, and he kind of like told me like a lot of this stuff is great, and like that was like amazing to hear, because like you go check him out on the internet and you see like he's on the main stage at Firefly. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm out there checking out in all of like what's going on. He's up there, and he's a humble and respectful and nice person to talk to. He's genuine, and like he keeps it real. So it's amazing that it was amazing to link up with him, because he's a great guy, and I feel like he has pure intentions always. He's just a man. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, we're big fans of Brandon. So
we sing the praises of Bonics all the time.
I feel like
he's such a good dude.
We literally, I don't know that since we've had him on, we've not talked about him in a positive light. At least a portion of the podcast has been dedicated to our love for Brandon.
He's the man. When we went to his birthday party, it was really cool.
That was great.
Yeah, I had a great time. I want to go out to Vegas and visit him. Like, just take a little trip.
Yeah, same. Go and see.
I will not come back. I promise you.
I'll be dragging Kevin by his ankles to the airplane. He's like, no, I don't want to leave.
Yeah.
You're having a lot of fun.
Dude, he looks like he's having the time of his life. Why would I not?
No, I'm saying you were having too much fun in Vegas.
Oh yeah. If I went, I would not come back. I've been there twice before. I promise you, at this point in my life, if I go to Vegas and I'm hanging out with Brandon there, I would not return.
Yeah. Do you like to gamble?
Yeah, I mean, but not like I'm not hardcore about it. You know what I mean? I'm not going to be in the casino like all night long,
like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I'm not like that. I'd rather explore and go to the bar and chill and talk to people and have a couple drinks than I would be stuck at a table 5, 6, 7 hours a night. That's not my style.
No, but I will say there's nothing better than being on a heater on a craps table when you're just like fucking rolling. I was like, they called me. I was at a
party.
The man with the I was throwing. I made there was a person at the other end of the table. I made them $7,000 in 20 minutes. They were like, they gave you like they were like, here, take money. I'm like, keep rolling, please. Made them $7,000 in 20 minutes. I was like,
you made that?
I made them 20. I was rolling. I was just on fire. I was just rolling, and I just couldn't crap out. And I made it. I was rolling for 20 minutes straight, and $7,000 for that person. We all made money.
My boy Diamond just heated up on the craps table. We went to Firefly, and it's a casino there too, Dover Downs.
Yeah, right.
And some old dude next to him heated up on the dice and just kept betting the hard 8, and that guy just kept rolling it. And I was like, he was like, yo, this is an honor right now. You have no clue how crazy this is. I'm like, I'm sure it is. You just won like hundreds of dollars in minutes. Like,
yes, it's always good when it's good. It's always like, but then there's always time where you're like, okay, I was at the blackjack table for 5 minutes and I lost $150. Like,
yeah, I mean, I got hot on roulette a couple of times, but I try to avoid the casino. Like, I don't have money to be in the casino yet. One day, if I have like a budget for going to the casino, I'll do it. But like, nah, I can't afford to lose money in the casino at this point.
You'll be like throwing guitars up on like the roulette table.
Yeah, all the one but my green one. I can give you everything. My green Stratocaster stays with me, but everything else, I'm putting it up. All right, hey, so listen, we had a really good time talking to you, Ryan.
Yeah, it was a blast.
And it was great talking to you, and we're really excited to see what you're putting out again. Ryan's single Red Flags coming out soon, and please go see him October 9th. That's only 4 days away from when this is being recorded. So,
Attic Brewing Co.
Attic Brewing Company in Philadelphia with Ryan Gilfillian.
Punktoberfest.
What's it called? Punktoberfest?
Funktoberfest.
Oh, I was about to say Punktoberfest doesn't sound like the kind of thing that
you guys got to pop out if you can. It'll be fun.
I would love to.
Oh, yeah.
There's going to be other great bands there too. Arthur Thomas and the Punkatorium. They're tough. I'm looking forward to seeing them again.
Arthur Thomas and the Funkatorium?
Yeah, they're going to be tough. Just come.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. You had me at Funkatorium, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, we've been rehearsing our set. We're like, I know I was saying we don't play covers, but that's like if I'm doing a gig, but like we're definitely doing covers. Like expect some Bill Withers Use Me, which sounds so cool. Like the Keys guys are actually playing a collab. Like it's gonna be super funky.
All right, so if you want to get funky, get your ass down to Attic Brewing Company on October the 9th. We're going to try to get out there ourselves. Ryan Hempsey, it was an absolute pleasure. We'll have you on again real soon.